Hey guys, welcome back to Cinema with Jahari, and today, I got another big video for y'all today. I'm gonna be ranking all of the Dreamworks movies, all 47 of them. Now, this is an idea I have for a long time to do. I wanted to do this after I did my top 35 movies I saw in 2024. Now, this has nothing to do with last year, but I thought, hey, maybe I'll do another massive big ranking. And this one is gonna be a real treat. So enjoy today's video. Starting at the very bottom of the DreamWorks ranking, surprisingly, absolutely nobody, probably some people, but 47 is Shark Tale. This movie is a hot mess. First off, they try to make so many pop culture references in this movie, and they do not land at all. It's not clever. It's not fun. It's like Shrek, you know, or even like Madagascar. It's not as clever as those movies with pop culture stuff. But this movie falls completely on its face with the jokes. The characters are very unlikable. Even Will Smith can't even save this movie or Jack Black. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Shark Tale at all. This is like by far the worst out of like the golden age of DreamWorks, like the early part of DreamWorks. So 47, Shark Tale. 46 Ants, the first film that DreamWorks ever done. Why is it this low? Because it's dull, it's boring. I don't really care for none of the characters. The main character, voiced by a certain guy who I'm not the biggest fan of. The villain, pretty weak. I'm just not a big fan of the story. People compare A Bug's Life and Ants. I'm a Bug's Life guy. I prefer A Bug's Life. Ants is just very bad to me. I mean, it's not as bad as Shark Tale, but it's pretty bad. I don't like Ants at all. So 46 Ants. 45 Turbo. Turbo is run of the mill mediocre. It's just bland. The catcher Turbo, he's okay, not that great, not very. He isn't bad, and not great either. Just the story is like kind of simple. It's kind of predictable of other movies like Ratatouille, like a snail meets this guy, and yeah, it's kind of like Ratatouille. But yeah, what they try to do here is just okay. It's predictable. I really don't care for predictable movies, but 45 Turbo, it's okay. 44 B movie. Now I know a lot of people do like this movie. I'm just not big on it. I'm kind of like Brian Hall a little bit. I'm just not a fan of this movie. I think it's a unique premise, at least. Like a bee trying to sue some humans about their world and stuff. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. It's just kind of bizarre. It's a little too bizarre for me, for my taste. It's nice to hear another Patrick Warburton character though in this movie, like Ken. He's over the top. He's kind of hilarious in this movie. I do think that what they try to do with like some jokes here kind of land. There's some good memes here and there. It's just what loses me. It's just that the story just feels so bizarre. Some characters are kind of bizarre, and I don't really like bizarre very much. So yeah, it's right here in the lower ranking, but it's not horrible. It's just kind of mediocre. So yeah, 44 B movie. 43 Spirit Untamed. It's kind of still mediocre. We're still in the mediocre territory. It's not as bad as I thought it was when it first came out, because I do really like the first Spirit. That one was very good. I love the animation, love the music of the first film. This movie falls completely short to the first movie. The animation kind of feels like a made for Netflix movie, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, just I don't really like made for Netflix animated movies, especially with DreamWorks. Their animation is pretty terrible. How they do their animation work, and it's just like it feels like a girl movie, really. In the first movie, it really felt like for everybody, mostly for boys and girls. And this one just feels like just for girls, and yeah, I get if we see it. So it's down here. 43 Spirit Untamed. 42 Teenage Kraken. Still mediocre. Not a fan at all. I mean, it has some good, great animation, fantastic animation here. It's unique. It's unique about Teenage Krakens, like the fish out of water story. Interesting. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I don't care for it. It's like they do enough here that's just to be okay. Yeah, yeah. It's we're kind of moving on to the okay territory, but it's still kind of a little mediocre-ish. But it's okay. So 42, Teenage Kraken. 41, Cruise 2, A New Age. It's fine. It's fine. Is I like the first Cruise. You'll see that a little bit higher, but it's it's okay. They try to do. I like how they try to explore new things about the Cruise, exploring new things. Like they moved on to the more, let's say, the more modern world, like because they're cavemen and they're meeting people who's more updated, like people who's like going on to like maybe like the 1920s and all that stuff. That was an interesting, cool idea to explore with this movie. It was interesting, like how both of them had to collab and what they were trying to do. That was an interesting idea. I'm not a really big fan of these movies. In the first Cruise, I do like it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But yeah, it's fine. It's okay. So 41, Cruise 2. 40, Monsters vs. Aliens. This one is a little bit better than Cruise and New, which is because even though I still think it's just okay, doing nothing just to be okay, I have a little bit more fun with Monsters vs. Aliens than I do Cruise and New Ways. Just because, well, it's a space theme, kind of. I'm into space themes. But it's like one of those movies, like it's trying to be a Shrek clone. There's so many. It's like trying to be a Shrek clone, like with some pop culture references and so many jokes, like isolated jokes here, and some of them land, some don't. Yeah, it's kind of like B movie in a kind of way, but in a different way, in a little bit better way. But yeah, Monsters vs. Aliens, it's okay. So comes in at 40. 39, Shrek the Third. Probably the easiest answer for the worst Shrek film, but even the worst Shrek film can actually be kind of funny and kind of enjoyable and a little bit entertaining. Um, we have the same characters that we love: Shrek, Donkey, Fiona, Puss in Boots. Donkey and Puss in Boots never lose their hilarious form. They're not on their best performances, but they're pretty good here as well. It's still a Shrek. um, they just don't explore things enough to how Shrek is becoming a dad and stuff. I feel like they don't explore a lot with that. And also, it's just that I'm just not a fan of Arthur at all. They should never let Prince Charming be the villain. He was such a weak villain. In the second movie, he was like a good villain because of his mother. Not his mother, he's not a very good villain. So yeah, I mean, and some story issues with the plot. It's not as clever as the first two, or maybe the few movies that came after it. So yeah, 39, Shrek the Third. Um, okay, not great. 38, Sinbad. Now we're starting to move to the territory that I think is middle of the road. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like middle of the road. It's okay still. So 38, Sinbad. It's good. I like it more than most people. I think that it does some things that I really should not like, but I do like it anyway. Like Brad Pitt playing Sinbad, and he's good, and the chemistry is very good with him and the lady and everything. The animation is stellar. Partly, like, it's amazing the way they do some of the animation in this movie. The villain Eris is a pretty unique villain, so yeah. Some issues with like maybe it's a little too, let's say, I don't know what the proper word I could say for Sinbad, but just it's just all right. But yeah, it's all right. I like it enough, so it's right here in the middle. 38, Sinbad. 37, Kung Fu Panda 4. It came out for a year for now, almost a year now, and like I said in my 35 movie ranking, it was a little bit of it was a big disappointment because I expected this movie to be awesome. I expected this to be like on par for how great the first three was, and this is by far the worst out of the four, while still being a pretty solid, tolerable, and animated movie. I like the of course, the animation. I love the martial arts stuff. Of course, the Kung Fu Panda movies have fantastic action sequences. Um, I love seeing the returning villains, Tai Lung, Lord Shen, everybody. I love seeing their villains again, and I'm glad they have some type of arc. It's nice seeing some characters, and I feel like Aquafina, I feel like she did some good stuff here. I feel like her character isn't as over the top, so I really like her character here. It's unique for her. Um, just the problems I have is that the chameleon is kind of a weak villain. I mean, she tries to be intimidating, but she isn't. She's not as intimidating as like Tai Long or the other villains in the Kung Fu Panda movies. Or it's just that yeah. I mean, like I said, it was nice seeing Paul again and everybody. And the story just felt a little bit lackluster. Even though the story was kind of competent, a competent story does make for at least a good, okay movie, but it just felt lackluster. It just felt simple, and I saw this not on a very good day. So yeah, it's not seeing it on a good day kind of affects my experience. But every time I watch it, I'm just like, it's okay. So 37, Kung Fu Panda 4. 36, Over the Hedge. Over the Hedge, I would say, it's one of the better out of the post Shrek era. Not as good as a few movies I'm going to get up to, but it was pretty good. I liked the movie quite a bit. Now we're kind of moving on to the kind of good movies. So yeah, I would say that I do like the casting characters here. They're fun, some good voice acting work here. A fun premise, kind of like simple, or I mean not simple, well, kind of predictable, like kind of, let's say, unfamiliar here, but they do some unique things, like, a group of animals trying to live their habitat. So it was unique, and the villain, the Verminator, is a fun villain. So yeah, you have some very cool, you have some very fun characters here. The characters kind of hold the movie up, and some good solid jokes here. What holds this movie back from being like a fantastic movie is that, like I said, a little unfamiliar and kind of, let's say, a little too mean spirited sometimes, and a little too goofy and out of place sometimes. So yeah, that's kind of the movie that's kind of thing that holds me back, and it's not as rewatchable value. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't, but it's still a good movie. It's still like a good solid movie. So yeah, 36, Over the Hedge. 35, Puss in Boots. Yes, the first Puss in Boots is fine. I like it. Of course, some great casting choices like Antonio Barres as Puss in Boots and Kitty Sawpaws and Humpty Dumpty. So many great casting choices. Some very fun scenes with Puss in Boots and Kitty Sawpaws. And just some great action sequences here and there with Puss in Boots. Some very good moments in this movie. It's definitely the weaker out of the Shrek movies. Well, not weaker than Shrek the Third. That was kind of weaker, but yeah, I do. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I really want in the Shrek movie. But what they do here in the first Puss in Boots, they do a good enough job here. So, like I said, it's a solid movie. I like the first Puss in Boots, but the sequel we're gonna get to very later. But yeah, the first Puss in Boots is pretty good. So 35, first Puss in Boots. 34, The First Cruise. Yeah, like I said, I had it a little bit higher than the second movie. Like I said, what holds this movie back is because I'm not the biggest fan of this world, even though I really do think it's a very interesting idea for Dreamworks. Like, you got this caveman, just like the more world that was like maybe like 1,000 years ago. Yes, I thought that was a cool idea. Like, they were exploring new worlds. Like the Cruise family, they're fun characters. I like them. They're fun. I do like the world building, like I said with the first movie, but I feel like the world building in this movie is so much better. Yeah, so yeah, you got some good jokes here and there, some funny moments here and there. It's just not my cup of tea of like a DreamWorks movie, but I do think it's a very interesting idea. So that really brings it up a little bit higher. So yes, 34 is gonna be The First Cruise. Okay, 33, The First Spirit. The First Spirit is very good. I think it's so much better than the Second Spirit. But the reason why I have it this low, I really love to have it higher. It's just that this is not my cup of tea of like type of movies. The stuff they explore, I do love a lot of this in other movies because they do it in a little bit better way, in my opinion. But I do like a lot of things here. I think the animation is fantastic. The animations with the horses designs are incredible. I think that the way the story building is very good. The bond between Spirit and the guy, I feel like that was a great. It's the reason why I have this low. Is that it's not my type of movie, really. Even though I do really like it, I will rewatch it, but it's just not a movie that I think is like one of the best Dreamworks movies ever made. It's not quite that. So yeah, 33, The First Spirit, very good, just not very higher. 32, Trolls World Tour. Now, I think all the Trolls movies are very good, and yeah, shockingly, I don't get why people don't like them. I think they're fun, they're funny, they're very good. This one is my least favorite out of the three, but I think this one is very good. I love the rock music. I love the different trolls we explore. I like spending with Poppy and Branch and stuff. Yeah, I like this movie. Like I said, I really am a Trolls fan. I do like the Trolls movies. Um, I think when they try to expand with Poppy and Branch was really nice, and we got a new villain who was interesting. What holds this movie back? It's a little too kiddie for my taste. Even though I do think that the newest troll film that we got I think was very good. So yeah, I like that one better. But yeah, what they were trying to do in this movie was good. It's my least favorite out of the Trolls movies, but I do like it. It's still a very good movie. So 32, Trolls World Tour. 31, The Rise of the Guardians. Now, I know a lot of people do love this movie, and I really do like it. I don't love it, but I do really like the premise about these about like holiday creatures. Like you got the Easter Bunny, you got Santa Claus, and you got the Sandman, all that fun stuff here. And I think that the what's his name, Pitch Black, he was a very good villain here. Like I said, the premise alone really interests me into watching this movie because I am into premises like this because I feel like it's very fun, it's imaginative, and really turns your brain off and makes you like imagine what this world is gonna do. And I love that about movies like that. But what this movie does, they do very good. It's not the best version of what it was trying to do, but I do think what the version we got was very good. So yeah, this one was a very solid time. So 31, Rise of the Guardians. Okay, 30, Abominable. Abominable was very surprising because I thought this movie was going to be mediocre or probably even worse. Just not for me. But I really like the story here. It's kind of similar and kind of familiar of like of course like an alien has been the alien, the FBI is looking for this alien. We've been having those type of movies ever since like E.T. back in the 80s, so it's kind of familiar about those type of movies. But what they do here is unique. I like the cast of characters here. I feel like that Everest the Abominable was a unique design for like that character, and I like the villain here. She's doctors are I always joke about her because she looks like Meredith from Brave, but yeah. This movie, very solid. Solid, solid as a rock. So 30, Abominable. 29, Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were Rabbit. This movie is an Aardman film, the first of the Aardman films. This movie it's very good. I like the animation style here. Of course, Aardman's animation is fantastic. Of course, the characters are very fun. Wallace and Gromit, of course. Gromit is my favorite of the duo. The story here is bizarre, but in a fun way. I like the movie. It's very fun. Yeah. I guess why I have it a little lower than some of DreamWorks' other movies because, it's a movie that I really enjoy, but it's not a movie I rewatch too. Like if I'm in a movie for a DreamWorks movie, the Armin films aren't the ones I rewatch all the time. Still very good, and it comes here at 29. 28, Chicken Run. Very good, very good. I know some people are gonna be kind of shocked I have it this low. Hear me out. This movie is a very well made, crafted, animated movie. This movie has barely any negatives in this movie. I think the animation, like I said, all the art and animation is fantastic. You got a great villain, Mrs. Tweety. She's a fantastic villain. You love to hate her. That's a good villain. I like the story about them escaping. That was an interesting premise for Dreamworks at the time. I get this. This is one of the more beloved early part of Dreamworks movies. For me, I think it's a very good movie, just not a movie I rewatch often. And entertainment factor is a movie that I would have a little higher. But I do think this movie is very good. It's very entertaining, just not super entertaining for me to watch it like maybe once a week or twice a week. But it's a movie that I think is very good. Just not super high up there, but very good. 28 Chicken Run. 27 Flushed Away. Yeah, it's kind of ironic. I have all of the Aardman films the same on par. One is slightly better than the other. Yeah, I feel about all the Aardman films the same, and that's a good thing. I mean, I really like this one better. I like the Hugh Jackman performance as Roddy. Like the spoiled rich rat kid. That was unique, and he has to learn not to be so spoiled. I love that. And I love the villain of the Toad. He's a maniacal. He's nasty. I love that about him. It's like this movie has a lot of great things about it, and it has so many good pop culture references. Not legendary like Shrek, but some good pop culture references in this movie. So yeah, I like Flushed Away quite a bit. It's my by far the best out of the Artman movies in DreamWorks history. So yeah, 27 Flushed Away. 26 The Road to El Dorado. The Road to El Dorado is a fun ride. It's goofy, it's fun. I know why a lot of people love this movie. Yeah, for me, I do like this kind of story about a group of two men who Miguel and Tulio get lost, and they find El Dorado, or they just go on this tour, and they go on this wild, crazy adventure. And the music is very good here. It's the same guy who did The Lion King. Who could be mad at that? So yeah. 20 Road to El Dorado is very fun. I feel like it's one of the better. What was it, like a sort of? It's kind of felt like that Bible vibe, but the animation is just phenomenal. So yes, 26 The Road to El Dorado, very fun movie with a unique premise and a fun villain that makes it at least go on the upper half of DreamWorks better movies. 25 Boss Baby 2. Surprised to have the Boss Baby movies pretty high up above probably the movies that everyone will put above this movie. I really do not understand the hate for these movies. I really do not. They're fun, they're goofy, they're silly, they're bizarre, and that's what I love about them. This is my opinion. The first Boss Baby might be a couple spots higher, but the sequel I like as well. Not as much as the first film, but I'm also a really big fan of their show, the first show. Not a fan of their second show, but I'm a big fan of the Boss Baby franchise. So yeah, I like how we get explored like Tim as an adult, him dealing with his children and stuff. That he understands that they grow up, like his older daughter, she's growing up, and he's trying to want her love back again, and his new baby, who's the next Boss Baby, has to bring his brother, Boss Baby, and Tim together. Then they turn back to like kids again. I really like this movie. It's bizarre as the first film. I like it. I really enjoy the Boss Baby movies. So yeah, 25 comes in is Boss Baby 2. Just deal with it. 24, the first Trolls movie. This is another movie. I do not understand the hate for this movie. This movie is very good. I mean, I really enjoyed this movie ever since it came out. I love the songs, I love the characters, I like the villain, okay? I like the song "Can't Stop the Feeling." I mean, I really have enjoyed this movie ever since this came out in 2016. This is a very good movie. I do not understand the hate for this movie. Really, I don't. This is always like on people's bottom DreamWorks movies. I'm like, why? This movie is good. What is there not to like about it? I feel like everything is just charming. So yeah, I like Trolls a lot. So 24, the first Trolls. 23. Oh, bringing back to the Shrek movies. Shrek Forever After. Yes, it's been a long time we've seen Shrek on this list. I thought this movie was a great return to form for the Shrek franchise after the mess that was kind of Shrek the Third. But I'm glad Jim was like, okay, we hear you on Shrek the Third. We're finna bring you a much better movie. And I thought they did. I thought this movie was very surprising. We see Donkey in a new way, Puss in Boots in a new way, Fiona in a new way. We get to see Shrek trying to fall in love with Fiona all over again. I thought that was a unique concept for the Shrek movies. I feel like they brought things right back on track. And you got Rumpelstiltskin, a great villain in the Shrek franchise. So yeah, all in all, a very nice mid finale, and I'm really happy that we're getting a Shrek 5 in 2026. I'm really excited. So I thought 20 Shrek Forever After was a nice return to form for the Shrek movies. So coming in at 23, Shrek Forever After. 22, Trolls Band Together. The best Trolls film. And I'm glad a lot of people actually did like this movie. And I'm glad. This movie was very fun. By far, this is the best Trolls film. They wanted everything I asked for. I'm glad they was finally going to show Poppy and Branch relationship. They finally getting rid of that I don't know if I love her or not phase in their relationship. I'm glad they really brought that to life in this movie. That was like one the whole subplot. I like about we get to see Poppy's long lost sister, and they're still having favorite Bergens. I like that part of it. I love how they even come over their favorite Bergens just like Poppy and the others did. So yeah, this movie very good. I really enjoyed this movie. This is by far the best Trolls film. I feel like some people will actually agree with me on that. So yeah, 22 Trolls Band Together. Nice. 21, the original Boss Baby movie. Like I have said about the second one, I do not understand the hate for this movie at all. I really enjoy both of these movies. I love these. I love this movie. I saw it on a great day. I saw it or a day when me and my dad took me, and he thought this would be interesting, something like that. I think it was because Alec Baldwin in it. It's because he watched this show when he was little that's similar to The Boss Baby. He wanted to go see it, and I was very intrigued about this movie, the movie's premise. It's a wacky, bizarre idea about a talking baby running a business corporation, but it's very unique. I love the character of Boss Baby, Alec Baldwin. I think he's iconic in the role. About this movie's about you gotta share love. That's interesting. I love that idea about the movie. So yes, I really love Boss Baby. It's not my favorite Dreamworks movie, but it's all the way up here at 21. So deal with it. 21, Boss Baby. Coming into the top 20, and number 20 is going to be Home. This is another movie I do not understand the hate for at all, literally. It's because, well, people don't like the animation. People just think that the story. I'm like, okay, can you name one reason why you don't like the movie? No, like, okay, yeah. Because I really think this movie is really well done, made. You got some great voice acting between Rihanna as Chip, and you got Jim Pearson as O and all that stuff. I love about aliens or like taking the human home because they want to escape like their enemy. That's interesting. It's a little bit familiar, but I enjoy it how familiar it is because I really enjoy that aspect of the film. I feel like that the villain by Steve Martin, he's kind of annoying, but he's funny in a lot of scenes. So yeah, he's tolerable. So yeah, I really think this movie is very good. I really like this movie. I mean, I used to at this point. This is like probably like if you would have asked like 5-year-old Jahari, this might would have been my top 5 Dreamworks movies of all time. But yeah, it's not that quite anymore. I still really love it. I still kind of love it, but it's not in my top 5 anymore. Yeah, so number coming in number 20 is gonna be Home. 19 is gonna be Penguins and Madagascar. Now, when I was like little, let's say about like 5 or 6 years old, this is actually my favorite DreamWorks movie of all time. This is my favorite one. But as time went on, I have some appreciation with the previously movies that came before this one. Now, I still really love this movie. I still really enjoy it. I still get a really nice kick out of it. Um, I still really love like Dave as the villain. He's the octopus. That was funny, and I love how he names his henchmen off of celebrities. That was clever and kind of stupid in some type of way. But yeah, the penguins in this movie, they're great. They're probably my favorite side character in the Madagascar movies. Like, I'm glad they got their own movie. Yes, I saw this in theaters back in 2014. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. So yeah, I couldn't have Penguins in Madagascar low. I had to have it kind of pretty high. So yes, I really enjoy Penguins in Madagascar. 19, Penguins in Madagascar. 18 is going to be the first Madagascar movie. Yes. Right after this first spinoff. I highly enjoy this movie. Now we get to some classics here. Now, I love the cast of characters. You got Alex, Marty, Melman, Gloria, all great actors like Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, and Jada Smith. All great. King Julian, the lemurs, the penguins, all introduced in this movie. They're all very fun. All the characters are very fun. The characters are really the true heart of this movie. But I do love the concept, the story about like a group of animals were in the zoo and they get transferred to Madagascar. I love that premise, and they get landed on Madagascar. They get stranded on Madagascar. Just a great movie through and through. I always love this movie. This movie is just a classic. It's classic. I mean, why am I saying this is a classic? It's not on the like top 10. Well, I guess the movies that I love slightly more upper. So yeah, 18 coming in is the first Madagascar movie. 17, Madagascar 2, Escape to Africa. Yes, I have them right next to each other. I enjoy this one slightly more because I love Africa. I love seeing all all the animals in this movie. You get to see our group of four main characters go back to their roots. They go back to their hometown. Alex finds his long lost father, or he finds his long lost son. Voiced by the late Bernie Mac. He plays Zuba, Alex's dad. I just think it's an overall heartwarming movie. Knowing that Bernie Mac played in this movie, yeah, I love that part of it, and I just love how they like go around Africa and stuff. I love how the characters have a lot more to do. It's more funnier. You got Moto in this movie. You got you got so many laugh out loud moments in this movie. I feel like this is probably the best movie that has the best kind of humor. Even though I do like the movie I'm gonna get to in the other Madagascar movie a little bit more than this one, but I will say this one has the best laughs out of all the Madagascar movies by far. So yes, coming in at 17 is gonna be Madagascar 2: Escape to Africa. Very good sequel. 16. The last Madagascar movie, Madagascar 3: Europe's Most Wanted. Like the second one, I enjoyed this one just slightly more. It's like the Army films. All the Madagascar movies are like squashed together. I feel about them all the same, but I just like one slightly more. And I like that about the Madagascar movies. Like all of them are very consistent and very high quality for how much I really enjoy this series. I just love how they go to Europe, they travel through Europe, and they try to get back to New York. I love how they try to get back to New York. They try to help have the penguins take them back with the plane and stuff. Things don't go as planned because they get stopped by this fantastic villain, the best villain of the series, Chantal Dubois, the best villain of the series. She's crazy. She's off the wall crazy. She does anything to stop them and chop their heads off on their wall. I feel like she's a great villain. She really made this movie. Some more very funny jokes. Like Madagascar 2 has some very funny jokes here. Like this is one of the better Dreamworks blocks. Like this is outside of Shrek. This is my opinion. It's like the second best comedy blockbuster DreamWorks franchise outside of Shrek. So yes, I really enjoy all the Madagascar movies. This movie is crazy. It's wild. It's funny. all the Madagascar movies are like that, and I feel like this one is the best one. So 16, the third Madagascar. 15, Captain Underpants. Yeah, I know on my very first video on this channel, I have this on my top 10. Yeah, things have changed quite a bit, quite a bit. Even though I still really love this movie. Yeah, we're in the top 15 now. All these movies I think are very good. Awesome. Almost awesome, yeah. 15, Captain Underpants. I love this movie. Like I said, it has some of the best comedy out of Dreamworks. I laughed so hard at the name of Professor Poopy Pants. He's such a funny character. I love the potty humor. It turns your brain off. It's stupid in a good way. I love that. It's the humor is so juvenile, but like in a good way. Like mixing it with potty humor and juvenile humor, it does it so well here. It's stupid, but in a very good way. That's the best thing about this movie, basically. I enjoyed the characters. You got Kevin Hart here voicing George, and I forgot the other actor name who voices Harold. But I feel like this does justice to the book very nicely. Like I'm a really big fan of the book, and I was very happy for what I got out of this movie. So yes, as when I go for humor in a DreamWorks movie, this is one of the first ones I watch. And another film I'm gonna get to much later. So yes, 15, Captain Underpants. I love it. 14, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Another movie that kind of dropped a little bit. Not because I just love the movie, but kind of things kind of went out of order because I had to, you know, I don't think the first video was really meant for me to do those movies in order. Well, my top five was just not the 6 through 10, but my top five was my real ranking of those movies. But anyway, 14 is Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I just love this movie. I thought it's a smart way to teach history, a great way to teach history. I know a lot of people are not crazy about this one either, but this movie is a great way for kids to learn history about, like Mr. Peabody teaches Sherman to go through this history. It's a very fun movie to learn history. So yeah, it's a very soft, fun movie. I actually love this movie a lot. Actually, like I said, I really enjoyed the cast of characters here. You got some war heroes. You got Patrick Warburton playing King Abenina. He's very funny in this movie. Like I said, I wasn't really a big fan of Penny in the early part of the movie, but she gets better. So yeah, a lot of things they do right here than they get wrong. So yes, I really enjoyed this movie. So yes, 14, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. 13, The How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. Great movie through and through. People would say this is their favorite out of the three. Not quite, because there's a few things. I mean, one thing, because I feel like some characters get kind of annoying, but besides that, the movie is actually pretty fantastic because you have a lot of stories here. You get Astrid, Hiccup, and all that stuff, Toothless. You get so many great moments, so many heartfelt moments between those three. When you follow those three and not the side characters, it's just a fantastic movie through and through. They end this movie wonderfully. They did a great job. I'm really glad that this is the last movie in this franchise. Well, hopefully, yeah. I'm just glad they ended it really nicely. It's just like the movie's just fantastic when you focus on our main characters. When you get to the side characters, things kind of shift a little bit. But outside of them, this movie is just great. It's a very great movie. I mean, it just follows how very good the first two was. So yeah, this one is the weakest out of the three, but that's not like a super high bar. It's kind of like a compliment. Kind of like, yeah, it's the weakest, but the movies are like, the first two are just slightly more. But yeah, 13 is going to be The Hydrangea Dragon, The Hidden World. Number 12, Kung Fu Panda 3. Yes, the third Kung Fu Panda movie is like is all the way up here. This movie, when I first watched it, I actually thought it was kind of the best out of the three. As over time, I don't quite agree with that, but I still think this movie is kind of pretty awesome what they try to do. It's a solidly awesome movie in this franchise. I love how Paul meets his dad. He finds more history about his hometown with the pandas and stuff. You got of course, some great action sequences, some great voice acting here between Jack Black and everybody else. Great villain. but not as good as like Lord Shen or Tai Lung, but a very good villain here. He's much better than the Chameleon. But yeah, so yeah, a good, great movie. Always love the original Kung Fu Panda trilogy. Yeah. So yeah, I love Kung Fu Panda 3 quite a bit. It comes in at number 12. Just outside the top 10 is gonna be the superhero genre, Megamind. Man, I love this movie. It's so underrated. It was ahead of its time when this came out. I just love this movie. I still love this movie. I I really wanted to put it in the top 10, but it just barely edged out. But this movie's just fantastic. I love all the superhero genre. I love how they make fun of it a little bit and some of the tropes. It's one of my favorites of the superhero genre. I just love like Mega Man, voiced by Will Ferrell. That's one of my favorite roles by Will Ferrell. I love Brad Pitt playing Metro Man. You got Tina Fey voicing Roxanne. Great voice cast in this movie. I love some of the action sequences here. It's by far funny because you get comedic timing by Will Ferrell, of course, and actually kind of by Tina Fey as well. So yeah, I love Mega Man very much. I was so disappointed in the sequel. Like I said, that was in my top 10 worst, and it was in the bottom half of my 35 ranking. So yeah, I love Mega Man. It's one of my favorite Dreamworks movies, and it comes here at number 11. Moving on to the top 10. These top 10, well, I love the top 12 really, but top 10, these are the movies that are the best of the best. The movies that I think are fantastic. Coming in number 10 is the movie that put DreamWorks on the map. It's the original Shrek. Yes, the original Shrek. What else can you say about Shrek? It's a fantastic movie. They really do well with the pop culture references in this movie. It's the go of that out of DreamWorks movies. It's very good. Of course, this movie came like part of pop culture as well, and you got great characters introduced. You got Shrek, voiced by Mike Myers. You got Eddie Murphy, voicing Donkey, Cameron Diaz, Fiona, great villain, and Lord Farquaad. You just got so many great characters introduced in this movie. Like this movie is like it's kind of like a fairy tale, but Shrek is one of the best modern fairy tales when it came out. Like just being a very good fairy tale in general. So yes, number 10 is going to be the original Shrek. I couldn't sleep if I didn't have Shrek in the top 10, but it's in the top 10. So yes, starting off with the top 10 is going to be the original Shrek. Coming in at number 9 is going to be the original Kung Fu Panda. I love Kung Fu Panda really well. This movie was the introduction to Poe, Jack Black, and everybody. The Furious Five. You got Master Shifu. I think that's his name, Master Chifu. Yeah, you got the introduction to all these fantastic characters in this movie. You got a great villain in Tai Lung. The greatest scene in this film is like when he escaped. That's such an awesome scene. I love that scene. I just really love Kung Fu Panda. Really, what else can you say about Kung Fu Panda? It's awesome. One of the best action-packed animated movies to come out in DreamWorks. So yes, coming in at number 9 is gonna be the first Kung Fu Panda. Coming in at number 8 is gonna be How to Train Your Dragon. What a beautiful film! Great film through and through. You got the introduction to Hiccup, Toothless, their amazing friendship. They're one of the best DreamWorks duo, up there with Shrunken Donkey. Yeah, so you got their awesome relationship. And you got Astrid, such a great character as well. Her relationship with Hiccup was a nice introduction in this movie. You got like this like kind of like this fish out of water story. Well, not really. Like Hiccup has to prove to himself that he's more than what his village sees him. He wants to prove that he's more than that, and I just love those type of stories. Coming of age movies are just so well done. I feel like this is one of the better examples of that. So, How to Train Your Dragon. What else can you say about this film? It's phenomenal. This movie is just fantastic, and it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 as the best of the Kung Fu Panda movies is gonna be Kung Fu Panda 2. This by a landslide is the best of the Kung Fu Panda all four movies. I just feel like this one has the most heart to it. This one has the best action. This one has the best villain in Lord Shen. I love the villain in this movie. He really glued this movie together for a great conflict of the movie. I really enjoy, of course, the Furious Five. They have a lot more to do in this movie as they did in the first film. I love how Poe is trying to still learn how to mature and learn how to use his skills more wisely in this movie. Just a lot of heart in this movie and a lot of great action sequences in this movie. This one's probably the best action in the entire franchise. Yeah, so Kung Fu Panda 2 is awesome. So it comes here at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is going to be How to Train Your Dragon 2. The best out of the three. This movie hit much harder than the first movie. I mean, I was like, okay, do you think the sequel can top do you think the sequel could top the first movie? Because how incredible that one was, and it did. This movie hit so much harder. I love the story. You get some information about Hiccup's mom and about her relationship with Hiccup's dad. Thought that was a nice emotional story. You got Hiccup's dad dying at the end, one of the most heartbreaking moments in DreamWorks history. That was a very sad moment for the film. You got a great villain here in Drago. Just such a heartwarming, action-packed movie that I really love. This one is one of the best DreamWorks sequels. One of them, definitely in the top 10, maybe top 5 actually, because it's really up here. Is number 6 out of 47 movies. That shows how great this movie is. So yes, coming in at number 6 is gonna be How to Train Your Dragon 2. Incredible. Top 5. These are my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time. And coming in at number 5, staying at number 5, is going to be The Bad Guys. The Bad Guys is just was such a pleasant surprise when I first watched it. I thought DreamWorks was back in form. They proved that they could still make some modern DreamWorks classics in this movie. And later that year, we got another incredible movie, and I just really enjoyed this movie a lot. I just connect with the characters so much. About they're these criminals who steals. They try and become one of the greatest criminals of all time and stuff. Who steals everything. I thought they have to learn how to be good. It's just like great heist movie. It's one of my favorite heist movies now. I just love this movie. I just love how Mr. Wolf proves that he can be good. He can use his own skills for good. That's interesting. We learned that from Megamind as well, but I feel like this movie just does it slightly better. Slightly. It was yeah, I just love The Bad Guys so much. It's one of my favorite modern DreamWorks movies. I think it is my favorite. Well, actually, a film we're finna get to in a minute. That's my favorite modern DreamWorks movie. So coming in at number 5 is gonna be The Bad Guys. Top 4, and coming in at number 4 is gonna be the masterpiece. This is going to be The Prince of Egypt. This movie is a masterpiece by far. This is like a masterpiece you just got to see. The animation is just fantastic than you could describe. I feel like the characters feel like real characters. They're all great characters. Moses feels real. Everybody feels real. This movie's just a joint. You got the world building is just incredible here. You got a great classic villain and Ramses the second, the third, I don't know, one of them. I just love how Moses have to go through this journey, how to like save his city, save Egypt. He has to fight back and earn. It's just a let's not mention the music is just amazing. One of the best animated soundtracks ever of all time. Just like the Prince of Egypt is just like what really proves that DreamWorks is a great studio, and this really kicked off DreamWorks just as much as Shrek kicked off DreamWorks. I feel like this one was like pre-Shrek. This one really kicked things off for them. It was a big hit. It deserves it. It's a masterpiece. What else can you say about Prince of Egypt? It's incredible. So coming in at number 4 is gonna be The Prince of Egypt. Coming in at number 3 is gonna be the iconic Shrek 2. Man, this movie's incredible. like I feel like every joke hits like Donkey Kong. Like you get a funny scene, you get another funny scene. This movie is just like the perfect comedy. Every joke lands, and it's just amazing. You got Shrek is funnier than the first time. Donkey's more hilarious. You got Fiona's more hilarious. You got the introductions to Puss in Boots. He's such a fantastic character. He's hilarious. He was a laugh riot. He's a laugh riot for me. I think that Fiona parents are hilarious. The scenario with Shrek, Donkey, and Puss in Boots were hilarious. I just think this movie is just hilarious. Like the perfect comedy for DreamWorks, and once it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. I just love Shrek 2 so much. And just describe this movie is just fantastic, incredible. Go watch Shrek 2 if you can. This is by far, actually, I can't say it's the best Shrek film because we got one more Shrek film to talk about. But coming in number 3 is going to be the iconic Shrek 2. Coming in at number 2 as the best Shrek movie and Puss in Boots movie is going to be Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. What an incredible ride. Who would have thought Puss in Boots will have one of the greatest animated movies of all time be a sequel? This movie shouldn't have happened because how good it was. It was such a gigantic surprise for me. I love everything about it. This movie has great comedy, just as great comedy as Shrek 2, almost. I love the characters here. Of course, you got the return of Puss in Boots, Kitty Softpaws, and you got a new character, Perito, which was a nice, fun side character. I love Perito. Um, some great villains here and there. This one is about death. This one is the best example of anxiety of dying on screen. I feel like this movie does it fantastically. You got Death with such a great villain. You got a few other great villains here. A very fun scenario in this movie, and the animation is just fantastic. It's trying to be like Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, but this movie is just has fantastic animation. So yes, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was firing on all cylinders. This movie was just incredible. So coming in at number 2 is gonna be The Last Wish. And coming in as the best DreamWorks movie, I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this movie, but I don't care. Coming in as the best DreamWorks movies of all time, still standing, is gonna be The Wild Robot. What else have I said about this movie? What about like what 3 times, 4 times? This movie's just incredible. You got a heartfelt story about a robot trying to raise a bird. She gets stranded on the island and she finds this baby bird. She accidentally kills his family and she takes a little bit of guilt and she decides maybe to raise him, because she feel like that's her job, that's her purpose. And I love that. This movie's about parenting. I'm not a parent, like I said, but I'm a child. So about like a robot trying to raise his bird was heartwarming. Teaching him how to fly, like leaving from his nest. That was such a heartfelt story. This movie really knows how to make you cry. I feel like DreamWorks really has gotten back to movies trying to make you cry. Normally, normally DreamWorks doesn't really try to do that. It has done that many times, but this one movie actually kind of did it the best for me. I just really think this movie's just. I feel like right now nothing could top the Wild Robot. I was like, is the Wild Robot really gonna be my favorite? Because I really love this movie so much. When I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, I love this movie so much. I have to put that number 1. Just how fantastic it is. So coming in at number 1 is gonna be the Wild Robot for the greatest DreamWorks movie of all time. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I will update you on the next videos coming soon. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace and good night.